Have you ever reached that point where you finally feel like you've exhaled? The weight has lifted, the fog has cleared, and for the first time in a long time, you feel like you're actually winning at this thing called life. Then, without a single warning sign, the floor drops out. 1 minute you're fine, and the next, you're paralyzed by a heaviness you can't even name. You put on a brave face for the world. But the second you're behind closed doors, the mask shatters and the tears start hitting the floor. You find yourself back under the covers staring at the ceiling, and wondering if all that work you did was just a lie. You start to ask yourself if you're just fundamentally broken. If that sounds like your reality right now, I need you to hear this. You haven't lost an inch of ground. Here at Looks Fine Inside, we know that what feels like a total collapse is actually a vital part. Most people treat their mental health like a ladder, but real recovery is much more like a spiral staircase. You're going to pass by the same old shadows, but every time you do, you're at a higher level than you were before. Psychology refers to this as the setback cycle, and once you recognize it for what it is, these dark days stop looking like a dead end, and start looking like a roadmap. If you stick with me until the end of this video, you'll understand why your brain is designed to hit these low points, why they are actually a sign of massive growth, and how to navigate the dip without letting it pull you under. Most people give up right when the breakthrough is beginning because they mistake a release for a relapse. We've all been sold the myth that healing is a straight line from point A to point B. We think we're supposed to just get better and never look back, but the truth is that your mind heals in distinct waves, at mental, physical, and deep-seated emotional layers. When an old wound suddenly starts to sting again, it doesn't mean your progress has vanished. It means you've finally gained enough strength to address a deeper level. Think of it like peeling an onion. You can't get to the core without going through the layers. Every time a new layer surfaces, it's proof that you're moving deeper, even when it feels like you're just hurting again. It's actually quite common to hit a wall right after a period of peace. This happens because your nervous system finally feels safe enough to stop being on guard when you're in the middle of a crisis. Your body enters a survival state where it suppresses your emotions just so you can keep breathing and moving. It's only when the storm passes and things get quiet that your system realizes it's safe to let go of the baggage. At that sudden wave of exhaustion, or that urge to sob for no reason, that's not a malfunction, it's a discharge. Your body is finally exhaling the tension it's held for years. At Looks Fine Inside, we call this the decompression phase. It's the clearest indicator that you're finally moving out of survival mode and into true restoration. The human brain is an incredible machine, but it values familiarity over happiness. It doesn't always choose what's healthy, it chooses what it recognizes. If your past was defined by chaos, high stress, or constant self-criticism, your brain wired itself to see those states as home. So as you move toward a healthier life, your brain might occasionally pull you back into those old, painful rhythms of overthinking or people-pleasing. It's not trying to ruin your life, it's performing a safety check. It's asking, are we sure we don't need these old survival tools anymore? But here is the secret: every time you choose to be kind to yourself instead of falling into that old trap, you are literally rewiring your mind. You are teaching your brain a new definition of normal, and eventually the peace you're building will become the place your brain naturally wants to return to. There is a specific kind of internal turbulence that happens right before a major shift. It's that heavy, suffocating feeling that makes you scream, "I thought I was over this!" at. But consider this: your mind only brings these things to the surface when it knows you are resilient enough to handle them. Experts call this the rupture before repair. It's the emotional equivalent of growing pains. It hurts because you are expanding. Many people abandon their journey at this exact moment, never realizing they were just a few steps away from a permanent change in their perspective. If you are feeling the pressure right now, you aren't failing, you're evolving. You can actually measure your progress by the way you handle your bad days. Think back to a few years ago. A spiral back then might have lasted weeks and felt like a permanent identity. Now maybe you notice the spiral sooner. Maybe you're able to say, "I'm having a hard time," instead of "I am a failure." Maybe you bounce back in 3 days instead of 10. That is what victory looks like. A setback doesn't delete your history, it highlights your growth. When the same old triggers don't have the same power to destroy you, you've won. The storm might still be loud, but you've built a much stronger house. When the crash happens, your job isn't to fix it or fight it. Your only job is to sit with yourself through it. Slow down your pace, lower your expectations for the day, and give yourself the grace to simply exist. When you stop fighting the wave, you stop drowning in it. Having a difficult day isn't a sign that you're back at square one. It's just a loop in the journey. Each time you come back from a dip, even if you're just a little bit kinder to yourself than last time, you've gained a level of self-awareness that your past self never possessed. You are not the person you used to be, and that's why this time you're going to make it through. If you need a little extra help navigating these layers, checking out resources like BetterHelp can be a great step, and using the link in our description helps us keep creating content for you. Thanks for being part of the community here at Looks Fine Inside. Keep going, because even the smallest movement is still moving forward